The other event I'm looking forward to, an epic, potentially epic, men's high jump. 22-year-old Mutaz Barshim, the world indoor champion and Olympic bronze medalist, has jumped 7, 10, and 3/4 this year. He will have all his hands can handle with this man, Bohdan Bondarenko, the world champion. He has twice jumped 7, 10, and 3/4 and has also already jumped 7, 10, and a half in 2014. These two guys hook it up later this year. Maybe we could see a world record in the event. All right, Otto. Bar at 7, 7 1/4, now an intermediate height for the guys that are jumping now. This is 22-year-old Mutaz Barshim, has the leading jump in the world this year, the world indoor champion, and you're not going to see a clearance that easy at 7, 7 1/4 very often. He's 6'4 and a half, 142 pounds. Here's Eric Kennard from the U.S., silver medalist in London, struggling a little bit here. Third attempt at the same height, 7, 7 1/4. And he puts it together and makes it. He's jumped 7, 9 1/4 already in 2014. He is the future of the U.S. high jump. Lee? All right, Lee, back to the men's high jump. This is Mutaz Barshim, the world indoor champion. Had 2 misses at 7, 8 1/2, a little bit uncharacteristic, but watch this clearance. 3 or 4 inches maybe. That's what happens sometimes when you're struggling. And you got to really put it together. Watch this. Look at that clearance. That's a 7, 10 and change, 7, 11 jump. He just missed 7, 11 and a half in Rome last week. That'd be the highest jump in the world in the last 20 years. Lee? Live world champion Bohdan Bondarenko, bar at 7, 10 and a half. This would match his season best and is just 1 centimeter below his all-time best. It would also match the highest height ever cleared on American soil. Oh, and just brushes it on the way down. 3 jumpers in at this height of 7, 10 and a half. Of course, he uses incredible speed, and he just had his height in the wrong place. He'll have 2 more. With the bar at 7, 9 3/4 earlier, however, Mutaz Barshim, after making 7, 8 1/2 on his third, comes right back, and this is the way you do it. Struggle and then come right back and serve notice that you're still in it. Big clearance at 7, 9 3/4. That was enough distance to be close to an 8-foot jump. Again, he is built so beautifully for the event. 6'4", 143 pounds. Look at this hip height on 7, 9 3/4. All right, Lee, a lot more to come. Back to you. And all right, Lee, second attempt for Mutaz Barshim at 7, 10 and a half. Oh, my goodness! That matches the highest jump ever on American soil, which he already had from last year's Prefontaine. Look at this. This is world record type of stuff. That's just 2 inches under the world record that was set 21 years ago. I'm telling you, this event has exploded thanks to this young man and the world champion from Ukraine, who is up next. Back to the race.
Watching this young man.
We may have a world record here today.
My goodness.
Wow.
All right, Lee, just moments ago, he actually waited for that hurdles race to conclude so he could focus. World champion Bohdan Bondarenko, second attempt, 7, 10 and a half, and an easy clearance for the world champion. You know, he's 7th in the Olympics. Most of us had never even heard of him, but he just exploded last year and dominated. He was actually Track and Field News Male Athlete of the Year because of his performances. These are the kinds of jumps that we have not seen in 2 decades, and the bar will go up. Lee?
Dwight, the high jump men have brought this stadium alive.
While we were in the break, this happened. First attempt at 7, 11 1/4. This would be for the second highest performer in history. Equal second highest. That's just huge. That's the world lead and the highest anyone has jumped since 1993. But remember, there are 2 men in this competition. The first time ever 2 high jumpers have jumped 7, 10 and a half in the same competition. And Bohdan Bondarenko is up next. If he clears it also, he's in the lead. He's only had 4 competitive jumps this afternoon. Mutaz Barshim has had 11. Let's go back to Lee, set up the 200 meters.
Bondarenko and Barshim just going blow for blow in a high jump spectacle. That is something that has to be seen to be believed. We're being treated to something incredibly special today.
Well, you just heard the roar in the background. This time he didn't wait for a race to go. Bohdan Bondarenko, 7-11 and a quarter. He just watched Mutaz Barshim jump it in front of him. First attempt, and he is over cleanly. That becomes the highest jump on U.S. soil. Lee?
Unbelievable, Dwight. Just unbelievable. We're being treated to something truly special.
All right, here's what's happening. The bar is at 8 feet. Only one man has ever cleared this. World record holder Javier Sotomayor. He did it for the first time 25 years ago in San Juan, Puerto Rico. This is Mutaz Barshim. First attempt at 8 feet. He'll still have two, and I got to tell you, at an earlier height, he looked like he might be finished and then just screamed it by like 4 inches. But that is his 12th competitive jump of the afternoon, and he simply had his height in the wrong place. By comparison, Bohdan Bondarenko has only had 5 competitive attempts. That's the man on the far left of the screen, and if I know him, he might be passing this height to the world record. Just slightly out of position there. He just missed the vertical, just slightly, but he has 2 more. Let's go over to Lewis Johnson. All right, the bar has been raised to 8 feet 3/4 of an inch, a world record height. Mutaz Barshim had 1 miss at 8 feet. Bohdan Bondarenko was already passing that height, so Barshim has 2 attempts remaining at the world record. By jumping first in the order, he could be the first to break it, and Bondarenko could tie it. He's already jumped and cleared 7-11 and a quarter. He and Bondarenko both, but Bondarenko in the lead. Oh my goodness. Well, his hips were certainly high enough. They were just in the wrong place once again. He needs to be a little closer to the bar. Watch this. You will see his hips above the world record, but he doesn't penetrate far enough because he was too far away from the bar. That opens the door to Bondarenko, who has only had 5 competitive jumps this afternoon, so he is right in the wheelhouse. Your best jumps are number 5, 6, and 7. That's why I was a little surprised to see Barshim jumping basically every height in the competition. He started jumping at 7.2.5 and did not pass a height until he passed after 1 miss at 8 feet. So now he has to sit back and potentially watch a world record that he knows he can clear, a world record that he knows he's had his hips over, default to this man who has just set his own personal best along with Barshim by clearing 7-11 and a quarter just a few minutes ago. He and Barshim really started this high jump renaissance last year when Barshim jumped 7.10 and a half at the Prefontaine meet. And then this young man, 24-year-old Bohdan Bondarenko of Ukraine, jumped 7.10 3/4 at a Diamond League meet in Switzerland. Then it was on. They have pulled the quality of the entire event of men's high jump up. Derek Drouin, the bronze medalist from the Olympic Games from Canada, has jumped 7.10 and a half this year back at the Drake Relays, very, very early, the highest jump ever for that early in the season. And Bondarenko, unlike Barshim, likes silence. Barshim likes the rhythmic clapping. Bondarenko likes as close to silence as he can possibly get. That's a man I can relate to. So here it is, his 6th jump of the competition. The bar is at 8 feet 3/4 of an inch. He has 3 attempts because he passed at 8 feet. He hit it with his elbow on the way out, so it never had a chance. They will jump again. Barshim will have 1 jump remaining. Bondarenko will have 2. All right, Lee, let's get it back to you. All right, here it is. 2nd attempt at a world record, but it is his 3rd attempt because he passed after 1 miss at 8 feet. Mutaz Barshim of Qatar, the world indoor champion from last March, shared a bronze medal with 2 other athletes at the Olympic Games in London. This is it, world record. 13th attempt of the competition. That is hard on any athlete, much less one that only weighs 143 pounds. Now he has to sit back along with the rest of us and watch Bohdan Bondarenko, who is now the winner of the event, take 2 jumps at the world record himself. Back to you, Lee.
Dwight, I'm sure that you feel the same as we do. Myself, Addo Lewis, watching on. An amazing performance.
Back at Icon Stadium in New York City, here is what we have. Bohdan Bondarenko has won the competition by virtue of his first attempt clearance at 7.11 and having had only 1 miss throughout the competition. He beats Mutaz Barshim of Qatar on misses. Or, because he has 2 attempts at the world record, he beats him by setting the world record. Arguably the greatest high jump competition all time. Certainly one outside of a championship. Certainly one if you're just counting height. 2 jumpers over 7.11. We've never seen it. Second attempt, world record, 8 feet 3/4 of an inch. And he will have 1 remaining. I said this competition could be epic, and I was hoping for a world record this season. Not necessarily today, and I will tell you the conditions are not great for them. The wind is never a friend of a high jumper. He'll have 1 remaining as we go back upstairs to Lee.
What a thriller it has been.
All right, Lewis. 1 attempt remaining at a new world record, 8 feet 3/4 of an inch. 24-year-old Ukrainian Bohdan Bondarenko. Only inside baseball high jumpers knew who this guy was just 2 years ago. And in 2013, Male Athlete of the Year in track and field. Coached by his father, who was a decent decathlete, obviously knows a lot about the technical events. Oft injured, lots and lots of lower leg and foot problems in his early career, but clearly he has overcome that. He likes to take a minimum amount of jumps. Sometimes he wants it silent. Now he's decided he wants rhythmic clapping. He has won the competition on misses at 7.11. The pressure is off from a standpoint of winning the competition, but he sure would like to get that world record. There in the background is a pretty good high jumper in high school, Jeremy Fisher. Bondarenko, world record. Oh, he ran right through. I saw him drop his arms 3 steps out. But what a show these 2 young men put on. The greatest high jump competition in the history of the event, and some of the highest jumps over the bar I have personally ever seen in the 50 years I've been watching and covering track and field. Mutaz Barshim, what an incredible athlete. These 2 guys are making this event come back to life after many years of not being so. Thanks to you 2 guys, and back to Lee.
And Dwight, what a show these 2 young men put on here on Randall's Island at the Adidas Grand Prix.